Well, hey there, campers, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Camp Cryptid. I'm your host, Erica Fett, and not only is it a new episode, it is a new year. It is 2025, and last year, every time I did an episode, I was like, why is time flying? Like, who is pressing fast forward? They need to stop because the 2024 flew by. But with that being said, 2024 was an excellent year for horror. It was an amazing year for sci-fi, thrillers, TV. I mean, we were just really blessed with so many great things to watch in 2024. But before I get into everything that I absolutely adored in 2024, I want to thank everyone so much for tuning into last week's little Christmas recap. It was a quick little episode, but I really wanted to do a little Christmas episode based on some of the cool little Christmas cryptids and creeps and ghouls, but also talk about some of those cool Victorian traditions that they had when it came to ghost stories and having seances and all of that good stuff. I really never knew that about the Victorian era, and to kind of dive into a little bit of their traditions when it comes to ghosts and ghouls, and not only Christmas Eve and Christmas, but the New Year, that was amazing. So I really love that. But today, I really wanted to talk about my favorite movies and television shows that were horror, thriller, and sci-fi that came out in 2024. And like I said earlier, 2024, we were absolutely blessed with some amazing things to watch. So that's what we're going to be chatting about today, is some of my favorites from 2024. Now, to start off my list is a movie that came out recently, and it was The Substance. And I kept seeing so many amazing things coming out about The Substance, and I was like, okay, I have to watch this. I absolutely have to watch this. And it did not disappoint. Honestly, like, it was a movie all about the horrors of how far someone will go for vanity. And I thought that it was an amazing, fun twist with like a kind of a nostalgic feel. What I loved about it, it was just an overall, like, very fun body horror. I really wouldn't consider this like super crazy scary, but it just has those elements that's like the horrors of trying to stay young and stay fresh and stay vibrant, and how far people will go to attain that. So I thought that that was really a good movie. And like I said, it had so many positive reviews that I was like, I have to watch this because it has Demi Moore in it too. So hello. This one did not disappoint. So I was very happy to watch The Substance. Now, another great one that I watched in 2024 was The First Omen. And honestly, this was probably one of my favorites of 2024. I honestly think this movie is so underrated. And for any of you who have watched like all of the Omens, down to like there was a remake, right, that had like Julia Stiles in it, I think, that came out in the 2000s, I don't know. And then there were like 3 or 4 original Omens that Sam Neill, I think, was it Sam Neill? Yeah, I think it was Sam Neill. Sam Neill was in it, and he plays Damien, older. And, you know, as you start watching them, you like realize like, okay, this is a good story. But I really thought that The First Omen did a really great job as a prequel and kind of setting up the story to the actual Omen. Now, I thought The First Omen was really great. Honestly, like when it comes down to it, it definitely did a great job setting up the other movies. But you know what? I always love myself a religious horror. I think I've talked about before. I love religious horror. It's probably one of my favorite genres within horror. And I just think that there's something so creepy about religious horror, whether it's demons or the idea of God. I mean, there was that movie Frailty back in the day. And to me, it's one of my favorite religious horror movies. And it's so good. And honestly, growing up very religious and having like a deep respect for religion, seeing like the demon side of things, it just is always like really cool. So any type of religious horror movie though, like I usually enjoy. But also, this also makes me really, really want to go to the Vatican and like try to figure out a way to read all the Vatican files, because you know they've got some really good exorcism stories up in there. I need access to the Vatican archive. Okay, like that 2025 goals. That's what I want. That's what I want. But another movie that I really enjoyed for 2024 was Alien Romulus. And y'all know I am a huge Alien franchise fan. I have named half of my cats after Alien characters. I have Jonesy, Ripley. I named one of my cats Xena after Xenomorph. But I really, really love the Alien franchise, and it did take me a second to watch Alien Romulus just to find time for it, but it was so good. To me, it was a great bridge between Alien and Aliens, so I really, really enjoyed this one, and honestly, it was really action-packed, in my opinion. Once they got to where they were going and it took off, it was very action-packed, and I love the practical effects. I thought the story was great, and honestly, I loved that it gave a little insight to some of the things that Wayland Corp was doing behind the scenes. I thought that was really, really cool too. So I love everything. And you know what? I will still to this day say Prometheus. People who give Prometheus a hard time, I don't understand, because Prometheus was such a beautiful film. It was everything I could ever ask for like a prequel to what happened in, Alien. But honestly, like, it was beautiful. Like, how do you watch Prometheus and ever have a problem with it? I never understood that. But honestly, I thought that this movie kicked ass, and I thought it was a great bridge between the first two movies. And I would love to see like more little stories that kind of link the different films, because there's so many things that they talked about in the movies that they could do films on. So I would love to see this universe completely expanded and see more stories with an alien and the whole alien universe. And I just need everything, everything alien. So yeah. Now, one movie that I watched recently that I really did enjoy was called Heretic. Here I am talking about another religious horror, but it had Hugh Grant in it, and honestly, him as a bad guy, like, sign me up. It's always, to me, I always think it's better when like a really nice guy plays a bad guy, because then you're like, oh my gosh. Like, if Seth Rogen ever did like a bad guy, it would be like monumental, because we're so used to him being like this nice, like lovable, charming guy. And then if he ever was like an awful bad guy, you'd be like, your mind would just be blown. So Hugh Grant as a bad guy, come on. And then you add in the religious horror aspect, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a fun movie, and I didn't really know what to expect when I was going into it. So watching it, I was pleasantly surprised. But I did enjoy that one in 2024. This was one I recently watched too, so it's fresh in my mind. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And now, one movie, I think it's a foreign film, was called Mads, and this was shot in one take, and it's kind of like a modern day twist on a zombie film. It was a hell of a ride. I really, really enjoyed this one, and I would say if you get a second, I think it's on Shudder, maybe is where it's at, but Mads is one I would highly recommend, because honestly, when you go through and you watch that and you realize that, I don't know how many times they shot it before they got it in the one take, but when you realize that it was taken in one take, you're like, holy cow. Like, it just adds this like deep appreciation for that film. And honestly, I thought it was great. It wasn't like a super scary movie. I would say like it's more on like the thriller sense of things, but it had a couple jump scares, and honestly, adding in that, like, is it a zombie? Is it not a zombie? Like, it was just really cool. I really enjoyed that one. So if you need like a really cool, interesting, zombie type film, I would highly recommend Mads. I really enjoyed that one. And I love me some zombie films too. So it's my dream to be like a backup in one of these zombie movies and just be like a zombie. That's all I want to do when it comes to like roles, is play like either the ghouls or like just the most random cameo of like, like where you don't even know it's me, but I'm there. That's my goal. 2025, another goal. Vatican Files and be like background actor. Who cares? Now, Longlegs, I have to mention Longlegs because this movie got so much hype, right? And rightfully so. I mean, when you add in aspects of another, I guess religious horror, right? I guess because there's like symbolism. But then you add in a serial killer, and then you add in Nick Cage. Come on, like hands down, yes. I really enjoyed it, and it definitely, in my opinion, lived up to the hype. I enjoyed it, and I honestly would love to see Nicolas Cage being more of like a serial killer. I think that he does such a great job. I know he's been in so many random like horror films over the years. Like, oh gosh, what is it? Willy's Wonderland? Is that what it is? But I really did love Longlegs. And honestly, like, I thought that was a really cool serial killer film that was very fresh and unique. And I really, really enjoyed that. Now, another serial killer film that I loved in 2024 was In a Violent Nature. And I honestly kept seeing so many people talk about In a Violent Nature. And I was like, what is this movie about? And all I kind of knew going into it was that it was a Jason, like Friday the 13th feel, but like a POV from his point of view. And I did not know what to expect. Like I said, I just knew it had that feel to it. And honestly, holy cow, like that movie was so good. I can't wait. I know they're making a sequel, so I love that. But honestly, when it comes down to it, there have been so many Friday the 13th type of films, right? And there have been so many times that people have tried to like replicate the recipe for it. But honestly, I think this one was one of the best done of all of those. And at the end of the day, like it was the last 5 minutes of the film, and anybody who's watched it knows, like at the last 5 minutes of the film, to me, is the most like anxiety inducing like 5 minutes of an ending of a film. I just thought overall, wow, it was phenomenally done. And the story was great. I can't wait for them to elaborate on it more. And also the kills. Holy cow. Like we're talking Jason, but you're adding in gore to it. So it's like plus 10 gore from Jason movies. But I really enjoyed it, and the special effects were amazing. The overall feel of it was amazing. You would think that some of it would be kind of like dull because you're following him. No, not at all. It was nonstop entertaining. So I would highly recommend, if you like the Friday the 13th films, definitely give In a Violent Nature a chance. I believe it's also on Shudder. So looks like you might need to get you a Shudder subscription in 2025. Oh, by the way, I am not endorsed by Shudder. I just love me horror movies, and I watch everything horror movies. So you have to have Shudder. Now another one that came out this year that was really entertaining, and another, I would say, I don't know if it's religious horror, because I feel like if anything has a devil in it, it's a religious horror, right? Late Night with the Devil. I thought that one was great. It had the nostalgia of the 70s and those talk shows, but then adding in, an exorcism / demon to it. Like, come on. I loved it. But I really, really did enjoy Late Night with the Devil. Like I said, I just feel like 2024 was so amazing for horror. And that's why I'm like, when people are like talking about like, oh, there were not that for this movie, I'm like, what are you talking about? There were so many great movies in 2024. I can't stop gushing about them all. But other than Late Night with the Devil and In a Violent Nature and Long Legs and Mads, I would say Infested was also a great film to watch. I believe it was also a foreign film, and it was basically about spiders. So if you have arachnophobia, to me, I think that this is like a way more cool, up-to-date, modern version of arachnophobia. I think that the story was amazing. I think that the effects were amazing. And honestly, if you are needing a good scary movie that has just spiders in it, that's the one I would go to. I think Infested was so good. I don't remember. I think it's a French film. I can't remember. But either way, Infested. I also believe that that's on Shudder. Everything's on Shudder. Now, to get to some of my absolute favorites this year, I would have to say Slay, which is a Tubi original. And I know I've told you guys all the time, Tubi. I'm telling you, I love Tubi. Tubi to me is like when you, in the 2000s, right? And you had a local like mom and pop video store, and you go in and you're like, oh, they've got all the great movies, right? They've got all the classics, but then they've also got some of these movies you've never heard of. And then you like see the cover and you're like, oh, that kind of interests me. That's Tubi. So Slay is on Tubi. And to me, there has not been a better comedic horror in 2024 than Slay. And I am praying, my fingers crossed, that there is a sequel to Slay. And if the gods can hear me, please let there be a sequel to Slay. I loved it. It was so fun. It was so charming. Wonderful horror. It had to do with like vampires. It was so good. I love comedic horror too. So I probably love comedic horror, probably like the same that I love religious horror. So I just think that there's something so like fun and just like fresh about comedic horror. So Slay is one that I like highly recommend to watch. Just so good. Now, another one that I absolutely love, and this is a series. I think this is the third one out. It's Horror in the High Desert. And these movies are so unique and they are so good. It's a found footage type of feel. And I love found footage. Is there anything that I don't love when it comes to horror? Like I keep saying, I love religious horror. I love comedic horror. I guess gore is probably my least favorite of everything. I usually try to watch gore just to kind of like appreciate the effects that goes into it and all the hard work for that. So I will say I love found footage. So Horror in the High Desert is one that I think that is probably one of my favorite of all the found footage franchises. And honestly, like you add in like a creepy like ghost town and like legends out in the desert. Are you kidding me? Like sign me up. Horror in the High Desert, it was Firewatch, I believe, is the one that came out this year. And it is so good. Honestly, like if you have a second to this weekend, you want a good little found footage, watch that. Because I'm telling you, very, very good. Suspenseful. And like, it's amazing because I have never watched a found footage that like gets by on just storytelling and not so much like jump scares. So honestly, amazing. But also, speaking of found footage, my husband and I, for the new year and for 2025, we were trying to figure out like what to watch. And we saved What We Do in the Shadows, the finale, for the new year. But another thing that we were watching this past week was the Blackwell Ghost. And I think I mentioned it maybe one of the prior episodes that we started it. But we just finished number 8. we watched all 8. And I would say if you like found footage and you like paranormal stories and I guess like serial killers and stuff like that, I would highly recommend the Blackwell Ghost. And it is amazing that I've watched 8 of these now and I'm still like, okay, well, I'm going to need 9 and 10 now because they're so good. But no, they're so good. And like I said, it's got like a Paranormal Activity feel mixed with, like a serial killer movie. It's so good. So I'd recommend those. So that, I guess I add the Blackwell Ghost. I think the 8th one came out in 2024, so it makes it on my 2024 top list. So yeah, Blackwell Ghost, number 8 was this past year. So watch the entire series though, because it's good. Now, I think my top of my list of my favorites this year had to be Oddity. And I believe this is also on Shudder. But Oddity, to me, was a movie that hit every box when it came to horror. It was supernatural. It was mixed with like murder, mystery. Overall, I just really, really enjoyed Oddity. And I will say it is the one movie I don't fall for jump scares. I will say this. I usually am like one of those people who sits there and if you go to jump out at me, I usually just stop and stare. Not a lot can really scare me. But this movie, Oddity, I actually fell for a jump scare and I like let out like a little scream. It had me on the edge of my seat. But Oddity was so good. I loved every aspect of that movie. It was probably my favorite movie of 2024. And there are so many great movies though. So like when I say it's my favorite movie, I mean like they're all my favorite movies. And I really liked it. I thought that one was so good. And I honestly would highly recommend that. So we've got Oddity, we've got Horror in the High Deserts, Slay, Blackwell Ghost number 8, Infested, Late Night with the Devil, In a Violent Nature, Long Legs, Mads, Heretic, Alien Romulus, and what was the last one I talked about? The First Omen and The Substance. I was like, let me check my notes. I was like, I have so many, it's hard to keep track of them all. But yeah, so there were so many great movies that came out in 2024. Like I said, we were really, really blessed with so many great movies and so many great stories and thrillers and sci-fi. Now, that being said, I couldn't make like a best of list because I haven't seen everything. Like there are so many great thrillers and horror movies that I still have yet to see from 2024. So these are just my favorites. I would highly recommend them. And if I missed one that you really liked in 2024, please let me know in the comments or let me know, on socials like, hey, you absolutely need to watch this so I can add it to my list. Now, with that being said, I know I did not mention Nosferatu, and that is because instead of going out to the movies, I told my husband, I was like, I just kind of want to stay at home and cuddle and watch movies. And that is why we watched The Blackwell Ghost. So I still have to see Nosferatu, and I know I'm going to love it. One, because it's gothic horror, it's vampires, and the costuming. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to love it. I cannot wait. Now, other than all of those amazing movies that came out in 2024, we were also blessed with some amazing TV shows like From, which is the first season. It was so good. I still have to catch up on the rest of them, but I loved From, and I know a lot of people are getting into it. So I would highly recommend checking that out. It's so good. The Creep tapes. So if anybody likes the Creep movies, a little bit of found footage as well. The Creep tapes came out, and it was a little anthology of all of his kills, which I think was so fun. Secret Level, which to me, I don't know if it's considered horror, but like I said, I put in sci-fi and thrillers and stuff in there. So some of these movies like Alien, Romulus, I guess could be considered horror, but it's also like sci-fi. So I think to me, like horror, sci-fi, and thrillers kind of all kind of mixed together because there's so many overlapping features that kind of work. So I would say Secret Level is one of the TV shows that I absolutely loved. And I am so happy because there was a Warhammer episode, and my husband knows I'm like obsessed with Warhammer. He like knows my Necron love. He knows I have my Nurgle candle right here behind me. My Nurgle, Mama Nurgle. That's who I am. But my husband knows like my love for Warhammer and like Warcraft and all of the lore. So when he watched the Warhammer episode, of course he was like, this is so cool. And I was so happy because I was like, oh my God, okay, I need him to tell me what faction he is so I can start buying him an entire kit. Just don't let it be like Tyranids or fucking orcs or something. Lose my mind because there's so many. And then I'm broke. But so good. So I'm so happy. And honestly, if you're a big gamer, I would say watch Secret Level. I'm telling you, the episodes are like 8 to like 10, 12 minutes long. And it is just, oh God, I love it. I loved it. It was so good. And like I said, the Warhammer episode, I would say start out with that. Start out with the Warhammer episode, get into Warhammer, and then we're going to talk, and then I'm going to start a podcast that's all Warhammer so we can all talk about it. They have a lot of cameos from people like Keanu Reeves and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I watched the Arnold one first prior to the Keanu one, and the Arnold one was like so cute and adorable, and then I go to the Keanu Reeves one, and I was like, I wish I didn't do it in that order because I was like, that is dark. Yeah, some of them are really dark, by the way. So highly recommend. Honestly, Secret Level, just go watch it right now. Turn this off, go watch it. Also, we were blessed with Dexter, Original Sin. It's so good. I really enjoy it. I have watched Dexter for so long. I got my husband into it, and I was so excited at New York Comic Con. There was a Dexter exhibit, so I got to go into it before the show floor opened, and I was like geeking out so hard because they had like everything in there. I think I posted in one of my videos, my New York Comic Con recap. I think I posted some of the video from inside the little shipping container that they had at New York Comic Con. So Dexter Original Sin, I mean, honestly, I loved it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And honestly, I'm excited for Dexter Resurrection. That's coming out, I think, in June of 2025 this year. And I'm very excited to see where the story goes. But yeah, Dexter Original Sin. I love that it came out this year, and I'm still going to enjoy it in 2025. So hey, can't wait. Now, like I said earlier, What We Do in the Shadows. Oh, it's so good, and I'm so sad it's over. But 2024, we were blessed with the final season of What We Do in the Shadows. And if you have not watched the TV show, I would highly recommend starting out with the movie that came out years and years ago. If you like the movie, watch the TV show. It's so good. And let's see, what else came out? Oh, House of the Dragon. There's more sci-fi and fantasy. I love it. I am a huge Game of Thrones fan. And so House of the Dragon, of course, I have to watch it. I will watch everything Game of Thrones. It does not even matter. If they came out with like a Game of Thrones 10 years later and they're all like old and there's nothing going on, I'm still going to watch it. It doesn't even matter. TV shows that came out that I loved in 2024. True Detective. I love True Detective Night Country. I thought it was awesome. Like, I loved it. You add in supernatural aspects. You add in a lot of the real life horrors that are going on in the world. And then you throw in Kaylee Reese and then Jodie Foster. Come on. Yes. So I loved True Detective Night Country. I thought the story was amazing. I thought the overall vibe was amazing. I love having the supernatural aspects, like I said, mixed in with real life horror. And then you put it in like a remote area in Alaska where it's like cold and scary. Come on. Of course, I'm into it. And probably my favorite TV show of 2024 was Fallout. It was so good. I played Fallout 76 and I think Fallout New Vegas, and I played the Fallout game on my cell phone. I can't remember what it was called. Oh gosh, I can't remember. But anyways, it was so good. Fallout, honestly, I cannot wait for the next season. I absolutely loved it. And I'm so happy that people who never played the games are giving it a chance, because honestly, Fallout, the TV show, you don't have to play the games to get into it. Like my husband never played the games at all and he like loves it too. So that's a little thing I want to say. Even if you've never played the Fallout video games, please give Fallout a chance. It is so good, especially if you like post-apocalyptic type of stuff, like that sci-fi feel. It's just so good. Honestly, the story's so good. The acting's so good. The props, the special effects, like everything about it is so good. And like the little tidbits for people who do and did play the game are still in there, and you're still going to appreciate it even if you didn't play the game. So I highly recommend Fallout. But yeah, see what I'm saying? Like 2024 was such an amazing year for sci-fi and horror and thrillers and TV and film. So I'm just... Thank you, 2024. And thank you to all the creators out there, writing these things and making these things and making these fun, amazing shows and movies come to life. Like, holy cow, we are all so blessed. So yes, I'm so happy. Like I said, I have so many amazing movies that I still need to see. So this is just like my personal favorites of 2024. And like I said, if you didn't hear something on this list and you're like, Erica, you have to watch that, please let me know. I have a list of things that people recommend, and trust me, I do watch them because I need to know. I have to be well-rounded, right, in all my research. But yeah, 2024 was such an amazing year, and I was able to go to Mothman Festival in September. I got to go to New York Comic Con. I was able to visit Houston. I was able to go to Spiel Essen in Germany. And I got to go to the Warhammer booth in Spiel Essen. And come on. I was so happy. I literally was so happy. I was texting my husband. I was like, oh my God, what do I get? What do I get? I have to figure out how to pack this stuff. I also got to do CryptidCon, which was amazing as well. And also I got to do a bunch of cool stuff with Cryptid Camp, which is a TCG that's focused on cryptids and folklore from all around the world. So that was a really fun time. And not only that, I got to meet so many amazing people at all of these conventions and events. So I really, really feel blessed for 2024 when it comes to that. And yeah, and so even though there were a couple things that happened in 2024 that weren't so pleasant, I would say overall 2024 was, a blessed year. I was able to hang out with my family, watch a bunch of horror and sci-fi and thriller movies. What more can I ask for? Spend quality time with them like that. So very exciting to see what 2025 has in store. And I guess to start out with 2025, my first convention I'll be doing is Loveland Frogman Festival in Cincinnati. So if anybody's around the Cincinnati area and you want to come hang out and get cool and cryptid with us, Loveland Frogman Festival. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's some speakers, and I will be doing a panel as well. So I'll be very excited to say hi to everybody and get all the cool cryptid stuff. So, but yeah. Like I said, 2024, I really do feel very excited about all the movies I got to watch. And I still have a lot of great ones still on the list. So other than that, 2024, that's my wrap. And 2025, I'm really excited to see what we got going on in 2025. I have some cool things kind of in the works already. And hopefully, fingers crossed for a Gettysburg Haunting news soon. And I'll keep you all posted on when that movie is going to come out and all the goodies on that. So I'm very excited, which I guess I gotta get Gabe on here. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to convince Gabe, my dear friend Gabe Braxton, to come on here and talk horror and sci-fi and thrillers and what got him into writing and directing when it comes to horror movies. But yeah, so I hope I can get more people on here too and have some fun little guests on this year and do some more travel stuff with Camp Cryptid. And we'll see what we got in store for 2025. But I can't believe it's 2025. Where is time going? I'm like, is someone pressing fast forward? Stop. I need to stop and enjoy. I miss the days where it feels like the day just drags on, That doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, other than that, I hope you all are having an amazing New Year so far. I know that it is early in 2025, but hopefully we have some amazing stuff in store for us. And maybe we'll find out if aliens exist this year, and then I'll have a lot of topics to talk about. But yeah, thanks so much, everybody. And I hope you all enjoyed this little list. I'll make sure to make like a little list of all of the fun things to watch. And in the meantime, if you guys are liking what I'm doing, make sure to go leave me a review on Apple or Spotify. And you can always listen to all of these episodes for free on my website. Also, become a patron. You can join my Patreon for free. You can give suggestions on future episodes. And I also have sticker tiers and early access to episodes. And I'm going to be doing some supplemental videos like movie reviews and like my Dracula collection videos. So I'll have a little fun doing some more supplemental videos for Patreon this year, and I can't wait. But yes, go to my Patreon. Patreon.com/Camp Cryptid. It's free to join and become a member and join our little community. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I hope y'all have an amazing day. And thanks again for hanging out for another episode of Camp Cryptid. I want to thank everybody so much for being such amazing campers. And also, we hit 50 episodes. Holy cow. Look, how did that happen? I missed it. So this is episode 51. So thank you all so much for being here for the past 50 episodes. And here's to 50 more. I'm so excited. But yeah. So have an amazing, amazing 2025 for me. And until next time, take care.